A new report by the United Nations Development Programme UNDP has highlighted the far-reaching economic consequences of the ongoing West Asia conflict, warning that even countries not directly involved, such as India, are facing a significant fallout. Now, according to the report, the conflict could push as many as 2.5 million additional people in India into poverty, underscoring how globalized economic linkages transmit the costs of war far beyond the battlefield. Hello, my name is Ashutosh Srivastava and I bring you the best from home and abroad. At first glance, India remains a neutral player in conflict involving countries like Iran and its regional adversaries. However, the UNDP analysis shows that neutrality does not shield an economy from indirect shocks. The primary channels through which the war is affecting India are rising energy prices, supply chain disruptions, and reduced global economic instability, all of which have a cascading effect on households and businesses. One of the most immediate impacts is through energy dependence. India imports over 90% of its crude oil, with a large share coming from West Asia. As tensions disrupt supply routes and increase risk premiums, especially around critical choke points like the Strait of Hormuz, fuel prices rise sharply. This in turn increases transportation costs, electricity generation expenses, and the price of essential goods. For ordinary households, this translates into reduced purchasing power, making basic necessities more expensive. The impact does not stop at fuel. India's agricultural sector is also vulnerable because it relies heavily on fertilizer imports from West Asia. Any disruption in supply or spike in prices can affect farm productivity, especially during critical periods like the upcoming Kharif season. Higher input costs for farmers can eventually lead to higher food prices, worsening food security and disproportionately affecting lower income groups as well. Now, another major channel is trade. West Asia accounts for a significant portion of India's exports and imports, including goods such as basmati rice, textiles, and gems and jewelry. The conflict has disrupted shipping routes, increased freight costs, and has led to delays due to war risk insurance and logistical challenges. As a result, exporters face uncertainty, cancelled orders, and shrinking margins, factors that directly affect employment, particularly in labor-sensitive sectors. Now, the report also highlights the role of remittances, a critical lifeline for millions of Indian families. With over 9 million Indians working in the Gulf countries, any slowdown in those economies due to the conflict can reduce income flows back home. This not only impacts household consumptions, but also weakens rural economies that depend heavily on remittance income. The labor market impact is particularly concerning. India's workforce is largely informal, with nearly 90% employed in sectors that lack strong financial buffers. Small and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, especially in industries like construction, hospitality, and manufacturing, are highly sensitive to rising input costs and supply disruptions. As costs increase and demand weakens, businesses may cut hours, reduce wages, or lay off workers, pushing more people into poverty and towards poverty as well. The UNDP estimates reflect this broader economic stress. India's poverty rate is projected to rise from 23.9% to 24.2% in a severe scenario, translating into millions of additional people falling below the poverty line. While the percentage increase may seem small, the absolute numbers are significant given India's population size. At the same time, the country could lose a portion of its progress on the Human Development Index (HDI), effectively setting back gains in health, education, and living standards. There are also emerging secondary effects. Rising global energy prices have prompted some countries, including India, to increase reliance on coal as a cheaper alternative, potentially affecting environmental goals of India as well. Meanwhile, sectors like healthcare are seeing increased costs, with medical device prices rising due to supply disruptions. Now, overall, the report paints a clear picture. Even as a neutral nation, India is deeply exposed to the economic ripple effects of the West Asia conflicts. The interconnected nature of global trade, energy markets, and labor flows mean that wars today are not confined to geography or by geography. For India, the challenge lies in managing these external shocks through diversifying energy sources, strengthening domestic supply chains, and expanding social protection, while protecting vulnerable populations from slipping into poverty. In essence, the conflict illustrates a broader reality of the modern world. Neutrality may keep a country out of war militarily, but it cannot fully insulate it from the economic costs of global instability. Thank you for watching.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.